You clicked because you wanted to know what your number was, not your pattern, not your default, your number, how much, how high. And I get that because that's what the title seemed to be offering. But here's what I actually want to talk about. The moment you heard, your birth year reveals something, your mind moved immediately toward a ceiling, not toward a mirror, a ceiling. And that move, that specific reflex is the first thing worth slowing down for. Because the digit at the end of your birth year does reveal something real. Just not what most people arrive here hoping to find. It doesn't tell you how much you can accumulate. It points toward the specific shape of the inner posture you were already carrying before you ever tried to build anything. Most people live inside that posture for decades without ever stopping to identify it. They just assume it's them. It isn't, but it runs like it is. A default state is different from a destiny in one specific way. A destiny is fixed. You can't choose into it or out of it. A default is what happens when you're not paying attention. It's the setting your inner life returns to when nothing is actively challenging it. Think about the last time you were close to something. A project, a decision, an opportunity that actually mattered, and something in you either hesitated, deflected, accelerated past the feeling, or quietly found a reason to slow down. That movement, that specific, almost automatic movement, that's what we're talking about. The digit isn't a score, it's a direction. It shows you which way you tend to lean when the moment asks you to step into something larger than you currently feel. And you can't choose a different direction until you've honestly named the one you've been moving in. That's the only thing this is about. If your year ends in 0, your default isn't limitation, it's the opposite. And that's the problem. You have a genuine relationship with possibility. New ideas don't feel risky to you the way they do to other people. They feel like invitations, and you accept most of them. But here's what that actually looks like from the outside. Someone who started a podcast, got to episode 11, then pivoted to a newsletter, wrote 4 issues, then decided the real opportunity was a course, built 60% of the course, then heard about something else. And at every transition, the reasoning was sound. That's what makes it hard to see. You weren't being scattered, you were being responsive. At least, that's what it felt like. The default isn't chaos. It's momentum that has never learned to find the thing worth being still for. Last digit 1. You have a specific relationship with starting that most people wouldn't recognize as a problem because it looks so much like responsibility. You research before you act. You want the conditions to be right. You've built spreadsheets for businesses you haven't launched, outlined books you haven't written, mapped customer journeys for products that don't exist yet. And the thing is, the preparation is real. You're not avoiding the work. You're doing a version of it that keeps you in a position of safety. Because once you start the actual thing, you're accountable to it in a way that planning never requires. The plan can always be revised. The thing, once it exists, can fail. Your default isn't laziness. It's a very organized, very thorough relationship with never being wrong, because you never fully committed to being tested. Last digit 2. You've built things by yourself that most people would have needed help to build. That's not an exaggeration. You have a real capacity for independent execution. But watch what happens when collaboration becomes available. You'll accept it late, after you've solved the hardest part, after the direction is set and the risk is mostly behind you. You bring people in when the building is already up and what's left is interior work. That's not partnership, that's staffing. And the version of what you build when you do it that way, it's good. It's often genuinely good, but it's always the one-person version of something that had the potential to be much larger. Your default is self-sufficiency, and self-sufficiency, past a certain point, is just a more dignified word for not letting anything in. Last digit 3. You think in a way that would land differently if you said it out loud. You've had moments in a conversation, in a message you almost sent, where the unfiltered version of your thinking surfaced for a second, and you could feel how it landed, different, more real. Then you edited it. Not maliciously, not out of dishonesty, but there's a filter that runs just before you speak or write or share, and it removes whatever feels too raw, too uncertain, too much like you actually being seen rather than you presenting something considered. What comes out the other side is polished, and polished things slide off people. The unedited version, the one you kept, that's the one that would have stayed with someone. Your default isn't silence. It's a version of expression that has been made safe enough to be forgettable. Last digit 4. You're good at the long game in a way that's real and visible. You understand systems. You understand that most things worth building take longer than people expect, and you're more patient with that than most. But there's a specific moment it usually arrives somewhere past the halfway point, after the initial energy is worn off, and before the results have compounded, where something that sounds like good judgment shows up. Maybe this isn't the right vehicle for this season. Maybe I should redirect this energy somewhere it can move faster. And the thing is, it sounds exactly like wisdom. It has the cadence of wisdom. It arrives in a calm voice, and it brings reasons. But it's usually early, and you've left enough things at that moment that the pattern is worth looking at directly. Your default isn't impatience. It's a very convincing relationship with leaving that has learned to dress itself as discernment. Last digit 5. You are genuinely good at more than one thing. That's not a consolation, it's actually true. And you've built a life that reflects it. Multiple projects, multiple directions, multiple versions of what you could be doing. But here's what someone trying to hire you, fund you, or refer someone to you actually experiences. They try to explain you to another person, and they can't quite finish the sentence. Not because you're unclear you can explain yourself fine, but because the complete picture of what you do is too layered to hand to someone else simply. And so you become someone people admire from a distance but can't quite point to. Your default isn't unfocused. It's diversified past the point where any single version of you has enough surface area to be found. Last digit 6. You give. That's not performance, it comes from somewhere real in you. You extend yourself before you're asked. You solve things other people haven't noticed need solving yet. But spend some time with the receiving end of your life. When someone offers to help you genuinely, without agenda, what happens in you? There's usually a small movement, a deflection. Oh, I'm fine. I don't need much. I've got it handled. And the reason isn't humility, not entirely. When you give, you know the terms. You're in a role that's familiar, that has known edges. When you receive, the terms belong to someone else, and that's less comfortable than it probably should be. Your default is generosity, but underneath it is a very quiet preference for being the one who doesn't need anything from anyone. Last digit 7. You know things at a level of specificity that would be genuinely valuable to other people. That's not something I'm saying to make you feel good. It's visible in the way you talk about what you know, the precision, the qualifications, the parts other people miss. But watch where that precision goes. It goes into your own thinking mostly, into how you evaluate other people's work, into notes that get more detailed and a body of work that stays private. Because there's a bar for when you'll be ready to share, for when the thing will be developed enough to show, and the bar has a quality that's worth naming. It moves. Every time you approach it, it adjusts upward. Not dramatically, just enough that you're always in a relationship with preparing to contribute rather than actually contributing. Your default isn't withholding. It's a standard for yourself that has quietly become a way of never having to be accountable to an audience. Last digit 8. You have real capacity, not theoretical demonstrable. You've had access to momentum, to resources, to a version of things working, more than once probably. And there's a pattern underneath that. Not the building that part you do well, the part just after the building, when the thing is working and what's required is simply to let it keep working. That's where something tends to happen. A decision that looks inexplicable afterward, a relationship that takes the stability with it, a pivot away from the thing that was working towards something that felt more urgent, more deserving of attention. It doesn't feel like self-sabotage when it's happening. It feels like responding to circumstances. It usually is, in the immediate sense. But the circumstances have a pattern, and the pattern has a source. Somewhere underneath the capacity is a belief that holding on to a lot for a long time is not something that's actually available to you. So you don't wait to lose it, you move first. Last digit 9. The scope of what you're thinking about is genuinely large, not inflated large, the kind of large that makes people around you slightly uncomfortable because they're not sure what to do with it. And you spend real time in it. You can describe it precisely, emotionally, structurally. You've thought through versions of it. You know why it matters. But here's the question worth sitting with. What happened last Tuesday? Not the vision of the thing, the actual Tuesday. The specific, unglamorous morning where the thing needed a spreadsheet, or a cold email sent to someone you weren't sure would respond, or 40 minutes of work that had no narrative arc to it whatsoever. Because the vision doesn't stall in the visioning. It stalls on a Tuesday when there's nothing interesting happening, and the work is just the work. Your default isn't laziness. It's a relationship with altitude that makes the ground feel like a place you visit, not a place you build from. One thing before we move on. If you're finding that one of these portraits landed somewhere specific in you, not comfortable, but specific, we go much deeper into this kind of work at manifesttheinfinite.com. Not affirmations, not scripts for what to say when you want something. Actual frameworks for examining the inner architecture that determines what you'll allow yourself to receive. The link is below. Now, where were we? Recognizing your pattern in a list of 10 portraits is not the same thing as actually changing it. You know that. I'm not going to dress it up. But here's what I've noticed about how this actually works. Not how it's supposed to work, how it actually works. The shift doesn't happen in a moment of realization. It happens in a moment of recognition that arrives after the automatic response has already started. You're 60% through something, and the convincing voice shows up. the one that sounds like wisdom, that brings good reasons, and instead of just obeying it, you catch it mid-sentence. You don't necessarily stop at that time, but you saw it, and then it happens again. And again you catch it, and slowly the catching starts to happen earlier, before the voice has finished its argument, before you've already half committed to the exit. That's the only version of interchange I've ever seen hold. Not a breakthrough, not a decision made once. A pattern interrupted, repeatedly, until the interruption becomes the new default. It's slower than a revelation, but it's the kind of slow that doesn't reverse. The digit at the end of your birth year was never a number that predicted your prosperity. What it points to, if you're honest with yourself about which portrait landed, is the specific place where your self-concept learned to stop just before the thing you actually want. Not a ceiling, not a number someone assigned you. A movement your inner life learned to make before you were old enough to decide whether that movement was yours.